Welcome to the San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park. We're at Mission Espada, where today, look around you. You're surrounded by 300 years of history. People settled this place. They worked the land, and they created a safe space for communities to grow. Today, you're going to meet Ranger Ariana with the National Park Service, and she's going to tell you about the history of this location and why it's important to the city of San Antonio.
Hi y'all, welcome to San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park. My name is Ranger Ariana, and here we are at Mission Espada, one of the 4 missions that make up this National Historical Park unit. This is the southernmost of the 5 San Antonio missions that we'll talk a little bit more about, but this story dates back almost 300 years.
Time out! What was going on 300 years ago?
300 years ago, there was a lot of different exploration here, where we saw lots of different history and people meeting together for the first time. People from Spain and people of this land. So as we go explore Mission Espada, we'll learn a little bit more about what the people have in store for us today. So here is just a small model of Mission Espada. And we walked right in through this gated arch right over here. And here, as we can see, a lot of it's still a little bit flat, maybe not what would be here 300 years ago, but for what remains, we can imagine a little bit of what we're looking at. From the church that we'll go to in a little bit, but also imagining all along these walls right here, these are where the indigenous peoples or the Native Americans lived and had their lives as they're trying out this new lifestyle. Outside the walls, over towards the San Antonio River, there would be acres and acres and acres of farm fields. And then even further on, there would be ranches where cowboys would now start raising cows and riding horses. That really Texas culture originates from this time period where Spain brings over these animals and the Native Americans really learn how to raise cattle, how to be of that cowboy industry. So this would be the church at Mission Espada that we see right here, one of the remaining buildings from that time period that we see that people still use these churches to this day. Although the history of Mission Espada goes back to 1731, today's time, they use this church for weddings and funerals and baptisms and mass. They use them all the time, and I think that really hones in that community uses this space even to this day, even with all that happened from Spain arriving and indigenous people living here, that we still have something that reflects that history and really represents San Antonio. So here inside of Mission Espada's Visitor Center, people can learn even more about this history other than looking at the walls. Even at this painting right here in this photo, we're talking about the agriculture, going back to that cowboy story and the origins of Texas agriculture. Before Spain's arrival, the Native Americans of South Texas were more nomadic. They just traveled, they found what they needed and took what they wanted. But when Spain arrives, they show them how to irrigate or how to farm all these farm fields using tools like this, using the longhorns or the cows that they bring over, and how to be able to mass produce lots of fruits and veggies for a community. Because now at each mission, anywhere between 200 to 400 people are living there. And that's a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of bellies to fill. So getting a good grasp on how to do agriculture in a really smart way is really important. But then another question might be, where are they keeping the cows? Probably not in their bedrooms. Those aren't really very big rooms. That the cows and the other animals that they would have, each mission had their own ranch. For Mission Espada, that ranch would be called Rancho de las Cabras, or Ranch of the Goats, where they had more than just goats. The National Park Service still manages that historical piece of land where we still tell the story of the very first cowboys, these young 12 to 15-year-old young men that were told to become the first cowboys, to learn how to ride this horse, to learn how to take care of the protein for the community, and bring it on down and continue having this food cycle for everyone. So here at San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park, there are a lot of topics we can cover, from the history to the science to the math to art to all sorts of things that really make up human history. So here at Mission Espada, we have some of the architecture that we see behind me, some of the stonework that represents the rooms that people lived in, that these were their bedrooms. They would be really simple, small beds, some dirt floors, kind of like what we're hanging out on right now, and some simple basic kitchenette supplies, like some basic molcajete, mortar and pestle, mano y metate, things that we might know now in our kitchen even to this day. Outside of these walls though, inside the mission itself would be the hustle and bustle of the community, where every day someone's doing their part to make this community happen. Because the Native Americans, before Spain arrives, they are living as nomads, as hunters and gatherers living off the land of San Antonio, Texas, way before they called this place San Antonio. But when Spain arrives, they have them all live in a community space where they all have shared work and occupations and duties. So whether that's learning blacksmithing, like repairing and making tools, whether that's learning masonry and putting all of these walls together and baking these bricks that we see right here. These are called ladrillos, or these thin handmade bricks, this Roman-style architecture that Spanish people come over and teach the indigenous people how to make. And you can find some of that original stuff here in Espada. Other jobs, like farming, where outside the walls there would be acres of farm fields that would cover corn and potatoes and tomatoes and squash, and pretty much everything you can find today at your grocery store. Then we have ranching, which is a really cool topic, the origins of the cowboy. Because when you think of the rodeo nowadays, you might think of it rodeo. And this might be a Spanish industry where they're bringing the lasso and the cowboys and these vaqueros to now manage the protein for the community. Instead of needing to hunt native Texas animals like a deer or a bear, they already have cows ready for them and they have these horses ready. So their lifestyle changes dramatically. The Native Americans that are now once living on the land, just going daily tasks, now they are becoming Spanish citizens. They're living within these walls, they're attending prayer when the bell rings, they're getting their first meal, and then everybody does their chore. And seeing as we're not still in Spain, it doesn't really go according to plan. From about 1731 to 1821, that's the time of the Spanish Empire. But then after Spain, it becomes Mexico. And then after Mexico, Texas, then the United States, then the Confederacy, and then back to the United States. So just on this land alone, there have been so many changes over time in this place. And that's what some of that history that really makes San Antonio so special. From the language, where the name San Antonio alone is San Antonio, Saint Anthony, and that's brought over by Spain. When you think about the food, we got a lot of delicious Tex-Mex. When you think about the culture, the art, the music, it's all so special that makes San Antonio a really neat place to be. Thank you all for exploring with me today and learning just a little bit of San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park here at Mission Espada. There are plenty more mission sites for you to explore and plenty more to learn about. Again, whether it's art, science, history. Today, we're earning this Junior Ranger badge that says that you've learned a little bit more with us today. But as you continue to explore here and more in your adventures, we will hope you have lots of fun. And now I'll turn it over to Mr. Clay to continue your adventures.
Oh man, you found me. I know Ranger Ariana was looking for me. I was checking out the chapel. This place is beautiful. But before we leave to our next adventure, I've got a few questions for you, okay? First question, what year was Mission Espada founded? Who knows? You know? You know? What about you? Do you know? You do know? All right, yell out the answer at me. Tell me. That's right, 1731. Take that into your heads, kids, for a second. This place was founded 50 years before George Washington crossed the Delaware and pushed the redcoats out, causing America's Revolution. Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, our next question. When they built Mission Espada and the other Spanish colonial missions, they built them on a piece of land for a purpose. Why was it so important to build it right here? What do you think? Okay, Antonio, what do you think?
Because it's near the San Antonio River.
That's right. Good job, top marks, Antonio. This place is right near the San Antonio River. And the river is the lifeblood of the missions. It brings water. It helps the locals. It helps feed the crops. It helps give water to the livestock. It's helpful for transportation. The San Antonio River, even today, is the main artery that our city survives off of. And it's been that way for over 300 years. Now, my last question is, we're standing in the middle of this beautiful courtyard, but what were some different jobs people had? And they had shops right here where we're standing. Anyone know any jobs? Jobs? What do you, anyone? Okay, yeah, you back there. No, not Luca, you. What job do you think? Yeah? That is a great job. Other jobs included being a blacksmith, maybe helping to sell food, being a farmer, maybe a cowboy. It's a great job, yeah. All these jobs come together to make this place a thriving community. It helps the people here live and survive the elements, live and survive nature, like bears and cougars, and help to spread the beauty of this community that is growing right here at Mission Espada. Do you guys have fun?
Yeah!
Ooh, we have walked so much here at the Mission. What say we take a break in the bus and head to our next location? What do you say?
Yeah!
All aboard the fun train. Woo woo! Next stop, awesome. Let's go.